In the beating heart of South America lies the Grand Brazil, a tropical paradise where vast rivers cut through the land like veins full of life, where the sun warms golden beaches that seem endless, and where majestic forests breathe and return essential oxygen to the world for our existence. A land of unparalleled riches, shaped with the perfection of the Creator's hands. Brazil is a giant that houses the greatest diversity of animals in the world, an unmatched refuge where life multiplies in forms, colors, and sounds that enchant all humanity. On this vast stage of wildlife, every corner of the territory reveals a unique spectacle of biodiversity. In the forests and rivers, especially in the Amazon and Pantanal, the jaguar watches silently, and the green anaconda glides like a shadow. Capybaras and tapirs maintain the forest's balance, while toucans and hyacinth macaws paint the sky with vibrant colors. In the Atlantic Ocean, wildlife is a fascinating spectacle. Humpback whales emerge from the depths in majestic leaps, true artists of the ocean. Dolphins, intelligent and social, perform acrobatics that delight those lucky enough to watch them. Sharks, though feared, usually patrol the coasts peacefully, fulfilling their essential role in marine balance. Turtles, true travelers through time, explore oceans on epic journeys, guided by an internal compass that always leads them back to the beaches where they were born to continue the cycle of life. No less impressive, fish in massive schools swim in perfect synchrony, as if the ocean had gained a beating heart. This liquid choreography not only maintains the balance of all marine life, but also supports human communities by providing food, jobs, and a direct connection to nature's rhythm. In the country's arid regions, like the caatinga, resilient species such as the giant anteater show the power of adaptation, while the Lear's macaws beautify the skies. From the ocean depths to the treetops, from river depths to vast forests, Brazil is a true theater of nature, where every creature plays an essential role in the grand web of life. The Atlantic forest, dense and vibrant, is home to the agile golden lion tamarin, which leaps between branches, helping regenerate the forest and reminding us of the importance of conservation. In the Cerrado, with its open savannas and scattered trees, roams the solitary maned wolf, traveling great distances, controlling local fauna, and symbolizing the biome's richness. Together, these ecosystems showcase the diversity and complexity of Brazilian nature, each with its key species and essential roles for life's balance. Stay until the end and discover how these landscapes connect to form one of the richest ecosystems on the planet. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming adventures. Tell us in the comments which country you're watching from. Here, the grandeur of rivers and forests meets the vast Atlantic, forming an ecosystem that gives life to cities, sustains indigenous communities, and influences the climate of the entire planet. It's a land that provides food, water, and raw materials for the whole world and is bathed in sunlight almost year-round. A place where nature and life come together in perfect harmony. In this seemingly endless paradise rests half of the immense Amazon rainforest, the largest tropical forest in the world, covering about 60% of the national territory. A green ocean that breathes life and regulates the climate of the entire planet. It's also home to the Pantanal, the world's largest wetland ecosystem, where caimans, jaguars, and rare birds live in harmony in a unique spectacle. As if that weren't enough, Brazil protects the Atlantic forest, one of the planet's most diverse biomes, as well as the Cerrado and Caatinga, which demonstrate the strength and resilience of life in the most extreme environments. All of this is shaped and nourished by the Atlantic Ocean, which bathes its vast coast, creating a link between land, water, and air. This country of continental proportions is important not only for Brazilians but for all humanity. About 66% of Brazil's territory remains covered by native vegetation, according to updated data from Map Biomas, an initiative that brings together universities, tech companies, and civil society organizations to map and monitor land use and vegetation cover in the country. Brazil is the fifth largest country in the world by land area, covering about 3 million square miles. It's larger than the entire European Union and occupies almost half of South America. Brazilian nature is extraordinary. The country is home to 20% of all known animal species on the planet, establishing itself as the richest in biodiversity in the world. More than 120,000 animal species have been recorded, ranging from tiny insects to imposing forest mammals, as well as about 50,000 plant species, representing 10% of the world's flora, many of which are found only in Brazil. This impressive proportion makes Brazil a true green heart of the planet, responsible for maintaining climate balance, generating oxygen, housing medicinal resources, and sustaining food chains that influence the entire world. Our adventure through Brazil's biomes begins with the Atlantic Forest, one of the richest and most threatened on the planet. Originally, it covered about 500,000 square miles, stretching along almost the entire Brazilian coastline. Today, only about 12% to 15% of the original coverage remains, scattered in isolated fragments. Despite historical destruction, it still harbors impressive biodiversity. It is estimated that there are more than 20,000 plant species and 2,000 vertebrate especies, many of which exist only there. The Atlantic Forest, present in cities like São Paulo, Brazil's economic center, and Rio de Janeiro, a global cultural and tourist reference, acts as a green lung, regulating the climate, purifying the air, and securing water, while supporting the quality of life in two of the most important metropolises on the planet. An example is Tijuca Forest in Rio de Janeiro, the largest replanted urban forest in the world, covering nearly 900 acres. In the 19th century, after deforestation for coffee caused a water crisis, Emperor Dom Pedro II ordered reforestation. Today, the area houses waterfalls, springs, diverse wildlife, and the Christ the Redeemer statue, while helping cool the city and protect its water resources. Among the most emblematic animals are the golden lion tamarin, the white-headed marmoset, which lives only in Brazil's forests, the jaguar, the tapir, the giant anteater, as well as birds like the roadside hawk and the rufous-bellied thrush, considered by many to be the country's national bird. The Atlantic Forest is known for its humid climate, abundant rivers, and dense forests that are essential for water supply. It provides water for more than 70% of Brazil's population, even with its reduced area. It is considered a priority area for global conservation. The Iguaçu Falls, located in Iguaçu National Park in Paraná, on the border with Argentina, and is one of Brazil's and the world's greatest landmarks. Formed by the Iguaçu River, it features about 275 waterfalls, stretching nearly 2 miles, with the most famous being the Devil's Throat, which is 270 feet high. Situated in the Atlantic forest, the region hosts rich biodiversity and has been recognized by UNESCO as a Natural World Heritage Site since 1986, attracting millions of visitors and symbolizing the power of nature and the importance of environmental conservation. Small and vibrant, the golden lion tamarin is one of the most striking symbols of the Atlantic forest. Measuring about 10 to 12 inches in length, with golden fur that shines in the sun and a long tail. It lives in family groups of up to 8 individuals, where cooperation is essential for caring for the young, searching for food, and strengthening social bonds. Agile, it leaps among branches in search of fruit, nectar, and insects, helping disperse seeds and maintain the forest's ecological balance. In the past, its population dropped to just a few hundred, but today, thanks to conservation efforts, there are more than 3,000 animals beyond its unique beauty. It is considered a keystone species for the ecosystem, showing how even the smallest creatures can sustain life around them. The Atlantic forest is home to a wide variety of birds, including some of the most common and easily observed by visitors and residents of nearby cities. Among them is the great kiskadee, known for its distinctive call and insect diet, playing an important role in pest control. Birds like the roadside hawk, the toko toucan, and the aracari toucan can be seen fairly regularly, though they are more discreet, contributing to ecosystem balance by hunting small animals or dispersing seeds. These birds not only beautify the Atlantic forest, but also indicate the health of the forest, showing that even in fragmented areas, wildlife remains active and present. Among the winged inhabitants of this forest is the rufous-bellied thrush, and one of the most well-known birds in Brazil, enchanting with its melodious song, considered one of the most beautiful in the country. Commonly found on forest trails, it measures about 10 inches long, with an orange chest and belly, a back and wings in shades of brown and gray, and is easily recognized by its dark tail that wags. And as it moves, it is an omnivorous bird feeding on fruits, insects, and small invertebrates, making it an important seed disperser and pest control helper. It is an agile and fast bird capable of jumping between branches and flying short distances with great skill. In Brazil, it has various popular names in different regions, such as sabia, campo sabia, and in some places, simply little canary bird. Due to its distinctive song, its song is associated with Brazilian identity. Many consider it a symbol of the country, inspiring music, poetry, and cultural traditions. Furthermore, it is an adaptable bird found both in the Atlantic forest and in open areas and even cities, always maintaining its striking and melodious presence. On a quiet morning in the Atlantic forest, the biome's largest land mammal, the tapir, walks slowly among tall trees and vines that intertwine on the forest floor. Measuring up to 5 feet in length and weighing between 330 and 660 pounds, its robust body moves with surprising agility, while its elongated snout touches leaves, fruits, and shoots, carefully choosing what to savor. Each step reveals its silent presence, spreading seeds along the way and helping to keep the forest alive and diverse. Near a stream, the tapir pauses for a moment, dipping its snout into the fresh water before continuing its walk. Solitary, it crosses the forest as a silent guardian, connecting trees, rivers, and life, while sunlight filters through the canopy, illuminating its dark coat and highlighting its majesty in the forest. Another symbolic animal of the Atlantic forest moves carefully among trees and shrubs, using its long claws to climb trunks and open paths through the dense woods, the giant anteater. About 4 feet long, its slender and muscular body is covered with grey fur and distinctive black stripes that help it camouflage in the forest. It feeds almost exclusively on ants and termites, using its long, sticky tongue to reach insects inside logs and anthills, and playing an important role in controlling these populations. The anteater is generally solitary and discreet, walking silently on the forest floor or climbing low branches to search for food. Despite its calm appearance, it is extremely agile when necessary, and its nocturnal habits make each encounter rare and special. A striking animal of Brazilian wildlife walks here, the jaguar in the forest. It is extremely rare due to the historical destruction of the forest and habitat fragmentation. It is estimated that only a few dozen individuals remain scattered in small protected fragments, such as Serra do Mar National Park and Intervales State Park. They are more common in the Amazon and Pantanal, where conditions are more favorable for observation. Studies indicate a density of about 2 to 3 jaguars per 39 square miles of rivers in the Pantanal, making it the biome with the highest concentration of jaguars in the world. And it is in this paradise that we continue our adventure. The Pantanal is a rare gem of Brazil, a true biodiversity paradise. There, jaguars share territory with caimans, capybaras, macaws, and hundreds of migratory fish. Its landscapes change with the rhythm of floods and droughts, creating a unique natural spectacle and serving as a corridor for birds from all over South America, besides being a living laboratory for the study of ecology and conservation. This is the largest continuous wetland system in the world, covering about 58,000 square miles. It is a unique biome formed by periodically and naturally flooded plains that support impressive biodiversity. Its vegetation is varied, including open fields, seasonally flooded savannas, gallery forests along rivers, forest patches, and aquatic vegetation. And in the most flooded regions, these conditions create a dynamic ecosystem where species adapt to seasonal water variations in the heart of the Pantanal. The majestic jaguar walks silently. It is fully adapted to this unique setting, with each careful step, observing the water reflecting the sky and the subtle movements of the wildlife inhabiting the region. Over thousands of years, it has learned refined hunting techniques, hiding among bushes and vines, patiently waiting for the right moment to attack. The jaguar is the largest feline in the Americas, impressing not only with its beauty, but also with its strength. An adult male can measure up to 6 feet 1 inch in length, not including the tail, which adds about 28 inches, and weigh between 198 and 265 pounds. While females are slightly smaller, it is the third largest feline in the world, behind only the lion and the tiger. But its strength compensates for its size. It has the most powerful bite among all felines, capable of piercing turtle shells and even penetrating the skulls of large prey. This extraordinary strength allows it to dominate the top of the food chain, capturing a huge variety of animals with precision and efficiency. Its combination of agility, camouflage, and strength makes it a feared and respected hunter, a symbol of power and balance in the forest, as its roar echoes through the woods as a reminder of its majesty. Its diet is varied: capybaras, caimans, deer, pacas, pecarias, and even turtles. More than 80 different species are part of its diet, providing enough energy to survive the seasonal changes of the Pantanal. The jaguar is a solitary and strategic hunter. It silently hides among the vegetation, watches its prey, approaches slowly, enters and attacks with a powerful bite, usually to the head or neck, ensuring a quick kill. During the dry season, it approaches rivers and lakes, using water as an ally to surprise its prey, while during the flood, it takes advantage of the inundation to move silently and dominate the terrain. At the top of the food chain, the jaguar maintains the ecosystem's balance, controlling populations and ensuring the health of the surrounding wildlife. At dusk, it disappears into the vegetation, leaving only the echo of its roar as a reminder of its imposing and essential presence in the Pantanal. Other giants roam this ecosystem. Capybaras are the largest rodents in the world, and a constant presence in the flooded plains and riverbanks of the Pantanal. They measure about 4 feet in length and weigh between 77 and 145 pounds. They live in social groups that can reach 20 or more individuals. They are herbivores, feeding on grasses, aquatic plants, and shoots, and spend much of the day near water, where they cool off and protect themselves from predators, because they are abundant and relatively slow on dry land. Capybaras have become one of the jaguar's favorite prey. Besides their importance in the jaguar's diet, capybaras play a crucial ecological role, maintaining vegetation balance and serving as food for other predators in the Pantanal. The Pantanal is extremely rich in birds, with more than 650 species such as the jabiru stork, scarlet macaws, and the roadside hawk. In addition to these, herons, roseate spoonbills, jacanas, and migratory birds complete the diversity. The variety of habitats: flooded fields, forest patches, gallery forests, and lagoons provides food, shelter, and breeding sites for this rich bird life. This ecosystem is known for housing one of the largest populations of caimans in the world, taking advantage of its rivers, lagoons, and flooded areas. Among the main species are the Pantanal caiman, also called the Tinga caiman, very common and easily observed, and the black caiman, larger and more robust, considered the top predator of the aquatic biome. The black caiman is the largest caiman in the world, capable of exceeding 16 feet and weighing up to 880 pounds. Although more common in the Amazon, it also occurs in the Pantanal, where it is rare and solitary. Unlike the abundant Pantanal caiman, which is nocturnal, it feeds on fish, birds, turtles, and even other caimans, acting as a top predator. Nearly extinct in the 20th century due to hunting for its skin, its populations are now recovering thanks to legal protection. Another, less common species is the dwarf caiman, small and discreet, which prefers smaller rivers and shallower waters. Almost extinct in the 20th century due to hunting for its skin. Today, its populations are recovering thanks to legal protection. Another, less common, is the dwarf caiman, small and discreet, which prefers smaller rivers and shallower waters. These caimans play an essential role in the ecosystem in controlling populations of fish and other aquatic animals, as well as serving as food for some species during early life stages. Their constant presence also contributes to the dynamic interaction between water and land, maintaining the ecological balance of the Pantanal. There are some places in Brazil where the Pantanal and Cerrado biomes meet. This transition area is called an ecotone, where characteristics of both biomes blend. In this setting, the flooded plains of the Pantanal merge with the fields and twisted trees of the Cerrado, creating a unique mosaic of life. Here, you can see maned wolves walking through dry areas, while capybaras and alligators rest along the edges of ponds. Jaguars reign at the top of the food chain, hunting both in the forests and flooded areas. Giant anteaters, pampas deer, jaguars, and macaws share the same territory, showing that this biome meeting is a true biodiversity sanctuary. The Cerrado is Brazil's second largest biome, covering about 772,000 square miles, roughly 22% of the national territory. It is known as the Brazilian savanna, characterized by a tropical seasonal climate with well-defined dry and rainy seasons, generally acidic and mineral-rich soils, and vegetation adapted to periodic natural fires. Typical vegetation includes twisted shrubs, medium-sized trees with spread-out canopies, grasses, and endemic species like pau terra, piki and barbatimao at dusk in the vast savannas of the Cerrado. Silently emerges the maned wolf, the largest canid in South America, measuring about 3 feet 11 inches long and 3 feet tall at the shoulders. Its slender body and long legs allow it to cover the great distances in search of food. Its reddish fur blends with the dry vegetation while the dark mane rises discreetly, signaling alertness. It lives alone or in pairs and is an omnivore, feeding on fruits, small mammals, birds, and insects. Especially fond of the wolf fruit, which also helps disperse seeds throughout the Cerrado. It is extremely agile and silent, capable of traveling up to 12 miles per night across the vast plains of the Cerrado and the flooded areas of the Pantanal. An elegant resident catches the eye, the pampas deer, with its slender body. About 3 feet, 11 inches long and 2 feet 4 inches tall, moving silently through the fields. It is a lightweight animal, weighing between 44 and 88 pounds. Its light brown fur makes it almost invisible in the dry vegetation, and males carry branched antlers that fall off and renew every year. A true spectacle of nature. During the day, it feeds on grasses, leaves, and shoots, helping maintain the balance of natural pastures, always in small groups. Led by a dominant male, these deer are alert to every sound, ready to run at high speed. If they sense the approach of predators, the presence of the pampas deer is a sign that the ecosystem is healthy because it needs large open areas to live and reproduce. In the vastness of the Cerrado and the open areas of the Pantanal, the pampas deer lives in constant alert, as it must fear Brazil's large predators. The jaguar, with its strength and deadly bite, is the most feared of all, capable of taking it down with a single blow. Even maned wolves can pose a danger to the fawns, as can some birds of prey circling the skies. To survive, the pampas deer depends on its speed and keen senses, fleeing at the slightest sign of threat. Life in these biomes is a constant race for survival, where each day is a new chance to escape and live. Leaving behind the open savannas of the Cerrado, we enter a new world, the Amazon, the largest tropical rainforest on the planet. Here, the air becomes more humid, the green denser, and the sound of life deafening. Birds, insects, and monkeys echo from all sides. The Brazilian Amazon covers about 1.93 million square miles, encompassing nearly 50% of Brazil's northern region and approximately 60% of the entire Amazon rainforest. It is the country's largest biome and the heart of the world's largest tropical forest. The Amazon is not limited to Brazil. It crosses 8 other South American countries, including Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana, forming a vast green belt that protects unique biodiversity and regulates the continental climate. This continental distribution makes the Amazon a strategic region not only for Brazil, but for the entire planet, playing a crucial role in carbon absorption, maintaining rivers and rainfall cycles, and preserving species found nowhere else in the world. The Amazon hosts an impressive number of trees. It is estimated that there are more than 390 billion trees, spread across thousands of different species, many of which have not yet been fully studied by science. These trees play a vital role not only for the forest but for the global climate. They absorb large amounts of carbon dioxide, helping to reduce the greenhouse effect and release oxygen, maintaining air quality. The transpiration of the trees contributes to the formation of clouds and rain, influencing the water cycle. Not only in the Amazon but also in distant regions of Brazil and even other South American countries. The destruction of these trees compromises this balance, affecting the global climate and biodiversity, and the water resources that millions of people depend on. The Amazon River is the heart of the Brazilian portion of the Amazon, running approximately 426 miles within the country. From the meeting of the Solimões River to its mouth in the Atlantic Ocean, it is the largest river in the world by water volume, carrying about 7,000 cubic feet per second. It sustains an immense wealth of aquatic life along its course through Brazil. This river feeds numerous tributaries, forming a vast network of rivers that cut through the forest. Among the most important are the Negro River, Madeira River, Tapajós River, Xingu River, and Juruá River, each with its own characteristics: black waters, muddy or clear, and contributes to the seasonal flood cycle, fundamental for fish reproduction. Nutrient transport and maintenance of biodiversity in the Brazilian Amazon. In the heart of the Brazilian Amazon, life pulses in every branch, leaf, and river. At dawn, a pink river dolphin glides silently through the waters of the Amazon River while red macaws fly over the treetops, coloring the sky with their vibrant flight. Among the branches, squirrel monkeys and capuchins communicate with cries and agile jumps, keeping the forest full of movement and sounds. On the ground, the majestic and stealthy jaguar watches its prey attentively, moving precisely among shadows and trunks. In the waters and on the banks, caimans rest, waiting for the right moment to hunt, while sloths spend the day slowly entwined in the trees, and giant anteaters slide through the branches, searching for ants and termites. Each animal plays its role, balancing predators and prey, keeping the forest alive and vibrant. The Amazon is a world where every creature, from the smallest insect to the largest jaguar, contributes to the unique symphony of life found only in this immense and mysterious forest. In the heart of the Brazilian Amazon, life manifests in an impressive diversity of animals. Among reptiles, More than 430 species move through the waters and trees of the forest, including caimans, snakes, and lizards in the rivers and streams. Approximately 1,000 species of amphibians, frogs, tree frogs, and salamanders ensure the continuity of life. With their calls and colors, among mammals, about 430 species live in this ecosystem. And from the majestic jaguars and howler monkeys to the mysterious river dolphins and giant anteaters, in the skies and treetops, more than 300 species of colorful birds like macaws, toucans, and hawks bring the forest to life with their flight and song. And in the waters, thousands of fish, including the impressive arapaima and tambaqui, complete this scene. All this richness represents a significant proportion of the world's fauna, about 10% of all birds on the planet, and one of the largest concentrations of amphibians and freshwater fish in the world are here. The Amazon is not only the largest tropical forest on the planet, but a biodiversity sanctuary essential for the ecological balance of Brazil and the world. In the depths of the warm, dark waters of the Amazon glides silently the imposing anaconda, also called the green anaconda. This giant of the waters is one of the largest snakes in the world, capable of exceeding 26 feet in length and weighing more than 440 pounds. Although records of even larger individuals have been made, the anaconda prefers rivers, streams, and flooded areas where its greenish coloration with dark spots, and weighing more than 440 pounds, although records of even larger individuals have been made. The anaconda prefers rivers, streams, and flooded areas where its greenish color with dark spots makes it practically invisible to prey and predators. It is a powerful predator that feeds on fish. Caimans, capybaras, and even deer, using constriction to safely overpower its predator prey. This giant has the ability to remain submerged for up to 10 minutes, silently observing the surrounding environment. It is a symbol of the strength and mystery of the Amazon, showing how life in the rainforest is as diverse as it is fascinating. High in the canopy of the Amazon trees emerges one of the most striking figures of the forest, the toco toucan, measuring about 22 to 26 inches. In length, it stands out even more because of its huge beak that can measure up to 8 inches. Colorful and lightweight, adapted to reach fruit on thin and distant branches. The toco toucan is omnivorous, feeding mainly on fruit, but also on insects and small vertebrates, playing a crucial role in seed dispersal, helping to regenerate and expand the forest sociable. It is often seen in small groups, communicating with its characteristic shrill call that echoes through the trees. Besides its beauty and vibrant colors, the toco toucan is a true agent of ecological balance, maintaining the plant diversity of the Amazon and reminding everyone that every creature, big or small, is essential for life in the rainforest. Among the tall branches of the Amazon lives a resident who seems to ignore the rush of the world. The sloth, an animal that follows its own pace. In the forest, mainly two species predominate: the collared sloth and the brown-throated sloth. With slow movements, they move along the branches at an average speed of about 6.5 feet per minute, feeding on leaves, shoots, and fruits with an extremely low metabolism. Adapted to a nutrient-poor diet, the slowness of this creature helps save energy and avoid predator attention. But when they come down to the ground to defecate or move between trees, they become vulnerable to jaguars, ocelots, and large birds of prey. Their strong claws, camouflage, and arboreal habits ensure that the sloth remains a charming presence in the Amazon canopy, reminding us that every creature It has its own pace and role in the complex web of the rainforest. Following its majestic course through the Brazilian Amazon, the Amazon River finally meets the Atlantic Ocean, forming a unique region known as the Amazon Estuary. The meeting of fresh and salt water creates a singular ecosystem full of life, called the Amazon Estuary. Here, the mixing of currents, sediments and nutrients creates ideal conditions for fish, crustaceans, migratory birds, and countless species of aquatic plants, making the place a crucial breeding and feeding ground. For biodiversity, the estuary helps transport nutrients to the ocean, influences the regional climate, and protects the coast from erosion. It is yet another example of how Brazil hosts extremely diverse ecosystems, connecting rivers, forests, and oceans in a web of life that supports millions of species and human communities. The Atlantic Ocean washes the entire Brazilian coast, which extends for about 600 miles from the state of Amapá in the north to Rio Grande do Sul in the south. This portion of the ocean is rich in varied ecosystems, including coral reefs, mangroves, continental shelves, and open sea areas. This ocean is home to a great diversity of marine animals such as dolphins, humpback whales, sea turtles, sharks, rays, and schools of fish. In addition, migratory species such as certain whales and seabirds use the Brazilian Atlantic as a passage route. The richness of the Atlantic Ocean contributes not only to biodiversity, but also to sustainable human activities like fishing and tourism. It plays a crucial role in climate regulation, influencing currents, rainfall, and temperatures. Along the entire Brazilian coast every year, the majestic humpback whales form one of the most impressive migrations in the world, traveling thousands of miles through the Brazilian Atlantic Ocean. They leave the cold waters of Antarctica, where they feed intensely during the austral summer, and swim toward the warm waters of the Brazilian coast. Especially in the states of Bahia, Espírito Santo, Rio de Janeiro, and Santa Catarina, to reproduce and give birth to their calves. Along this journey of up to 5,000 miles, the humpbacks travel in family groups, communicating with their powerful songs that can be heard over long distances. The presence of these giants of the sea is a natural spectacle and attracts researchers and tourists, reinforcing the importance of marine protected areas in the Brazilian Atlantic, ensuring that these whales continue their life cycle and contribute to the balance of the oceanic ecosystem. Humpback whales are true giants of the Atlantic Ocean, measuring between 46 and 59 feet in length and weighing up to 44,000 pounds. They are famous for their spectacular breaches, known as breaching, when they launch their entire body out of the water, displaying impressive strength and agility. These giants have unique characteristics, including very long pectoral fins that can reach up to 16 feet and a complex song that males use to communicate and attract females. Upon arriving in the warm waters of Brazil, especially between Bahia and Santa Catarina, humpbacks reproduce and care for their calves, taking advantage of the natural protection of coastal regions and the favorable temperature for the development of newborns. Along the Brazilian coast, various groups of dolphins regularly visit the waters of the Atlantic Ocean, bringing life and movement to the seas. Among the most common species are the bottlenose dolphin, known for its intelligence and interaction with humans, and the spinner dolphin, famous for its acrobatic jumps. These animals can be observed in different regions of Brazil. The bottlenose dolphin is frequent in the coastal region of Rio de Janeiro, Espírito Santo, and Santa Catarina, while the spinner dolphin usually appears in areas near oceanic islands such as Fernando de Noronha, dolphins are essential for marine balance, helping to control fish populations and maintaining the health of coastal ecosystems. These incredible creatures are masters of navigation and hunting. Guided by their echolocation, they emit sounds that bounce off surrounding objects, allowing them to identify obstacles, prey, and water depth even in dark or murky environments. This ability allows them to travel across various oceans, always oriented and hunting with precision. They live in large groups called pods, which can gather dozens or even hundreds of individuals, reinforcing social cooperation within these groups. They use sophisticated hunting strategies such as herding schools of fish, cornering fish against the surface or shore, and alternating positions to ensure everyone has access to food. Their remarkable intelligence is manifested in complex communication among group members, adaptation to different environments, and learning hunting techniques, making them agile and social predators, true symbols of Atlantic marine life. Various species of sharks circulate in the waters of the Atlantic Ocean, each with distinct characteristics and behaviors. Among the most common are the hammerhead shark, which prefers shallower, warmer waters, the tiger shark, known for its voracity and presence near the coast, the bonnethead shark, which inhabits sandy bottom regions, and the great white shark, occasionally spotted in deeper waters. Although rarer in this country, most of these species do not pose a significant risk to humans. But attacks can occur, especially on popular beaches and bathing areas where sharks may mistake people for natural prey. Sharks, despite being feared, play a fundamental role in the marine ecosystem, maintaining the balance of fish populations and contributing to the overall health. Think of the Brazilian Atlantic Ocean. The waters of the Brazilian Atlantic Ocean receive other famous visitors. Among them, marine turtles stand out, including species such as the green turtle, hawksbill turtle, and olive ridley turtle, which come to the country's beaches to nest and ensure the next generation. In addition, schools of fish, rays, small crustaceans, and seabirds complete this vibrant scene, forming a rich and interconnected web of life. The Brazilian coast shelters a diversity of ecosystems, from mangroves and coral reefs to oceanic islands, which serve as shelter, feeding, and breeding grounds for countless species. The Brazilian Atlantic is a true marine sanctuary, maintaining ecological balance and supporting fishing, tourism, and scientific research. While its waters and beaches attract visitors from around the world for diving, dolphin and whale watching, and ecotourism driving the economy. The oceans contribute to international trade, sustainable resource exploitation, and renewable energy, becoming a vital natural and economic heritage, connecting Brazil to the world and providing livelihood and development for millions of people in our adventure through the vast Brazilian ecosystem. Let's explore the Caatinga in the heart of Brazil's northeast, a biome unique on the entire planet. Spanning over 700 square miles, it covers about 10% of the national territory, including states like Bahia, Pernambuco, Ceará, Paraíba, Rio Grande do Norte, Piauí, Sergipe, Alagoas, and part of Minas Gerais. At first glance, it seems like a dry and arid land, marked by long drought periods and scarce rainfall. However, behind its landscape of twisted shrubs and spiny cacti. The Caatinga holds a biological richness that surprises those who venture to discover it. Here is the shelter of a unique biodiversity, adapted to the semi-arid climate, with species resistant to drought and temperature variations. It is estimated that more than 900 vertebrate species inhabit the region, including mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and thousands of invertebrate and plant species. In this extreme environment, the live creatures that have adapted with impressive resilience. Here we find the Lear's macaw, a symbol of the fight against extinction, and the agile northeast marmoset that leaps between branches. Silent predators also inhabit the area, such as the puma, known as the cougar, the second largest feline in the Americas. Feared reptiles like the rattlesnake and small but resilient animals like the Brazilian three-banded armadillo, each species, large or small, tells a story of adaptation and survival in a world where water is a true treasure. But the Caatinga is not just a refuge for wildlife. This often underestimated biome functions as a natural water reservoir, regulating rainfall cycles and feeding the rivers that sustain as many animals as the human communities that depend on them. Among its main inhabitants is the Lear's macaw, or blue macaw, one of the greatest treasures of the Caatinga and also a symbol of the fight for preservation in Brazil. This species exists only in this biome, mainly in the backlands of Bahia, living in rocky canyon areas, where it finds safe places to nest. Today, its population is estimated at around 1 tibai to 2,000 individuals, a still low number, but much higher than in past decades when it was on the brink of extinction. Its habits are quite peculiar. Unlike other macaws that live in humid forests, the Lear's macaw survives in the dry Caatinga climate, feeding mainly on the fruits of the licuri palm, typical of the region. They can fly long distances in search of these seeds, which are the basis of their diet. They live in flocks and have extremely social behavior, often seen in noisy flocks that color the Caatinga sky. This macaw was practically unknown to science until the 19th century, and for a long time was believed to be extinct. Hunting and wildlife trafficking drastically reduced its population, but thanks to conservation projects, monitoring, and nest protection, the species has been slowly recovering. In the branches of Caatinga trees lives the northeast marmoset, a small agile primate about 8 to 12 inches long, with a tail that can reach 16 inches. Its white and gray fur, with expressive facial markings, makes it easily recognizable, diurnal and social. It lives in family groups of 4 to 15 individuals, sharing care of the young and foraging for varied foods, such as fruits, insects, and tree sap, also contributing to seed dispersal. Communicative, it alerts its companions about predators and marks territory with distinct sounds. Adapted to the arid climate, the northeast marmoset is an example of ecological resilience, and thriving even in the challenging conditions of the Caatinga, despite constant threats like deforestation, desertification, and the uncontrolled expansion of livestock and agriculture. The Caatinga remains an essential pillar for ecological balance and the lives of millions of people. Understanding and protecting it is not only an environmental issue, but also an act of respect for history, the culture and resilience of the northeastern people. Brazil is a paradise that never ceases to amaze in every corner of this vast country. life reveals itself with a unique intensity. Visiting Brazil is much more than a simple trip. It is diving into an adventure that surprises. At every horizon, it is feeling that in every forest, river, field, backcountry or sea, there is always something new waiting for those who look closely from the solid lands that hold millennial stories. The waters that hide unfathomable mysteries, wild Brazil reveals not only species and landscapes, but also an invitation to the extraordinary. Those who surrender to the nature of this country not only fall in love, but awaken to a greater enchantment, that of realizing the planet is a living book written in rivers, mountains and forests whose pages still hide secrets only the Creator fully understands. Brazil, with its wild vastness, is one of the brightest chapters of this work, a place where life reveals its greatness and its deepest mysteries. And it is in this encounter between man and nature that the awareness is born that preserving is not just protecting a paradise, but safeguarding the very essence of the earth, so future generations can also leaf through this sacred book and discover its infinite beauty.